Welcome back to the Anti-Loudness Club podcast, where each morning while I get things set up at the studio, I talk mixing, mastering, and running a space that serves around 1,000 projects. Now, typical formality, wherever you're listening to this podcast on, make sure you click the subscribe button and follow so you don't miss out on good drip like this. Speaking about the great drip, the good info, the stuff that really helps you, in addition to this podcast, in addition to the YouTube channel, in addition to the newsletter, I've been putting together the Studio Flow Masterclass, and I'm getting really excited about this because I've done all the foundation work, got all my communications, email templates, mix agreement protocols, all the things you need to run a successful studio. And over the next few weeks, if you're in the early access subscriber list, I am asking questions and giving questionnaires and reaching out to those people on the early access list to really make sure that from the foundations that I've built up for this masterclass, I refine and define this so it's hyper applicable to the general community of music producers and engineers. Because it's got all my experience there. It's got what I have to share with the world, but I want to find a really strong intersection to help enable people to use it and use it well. So they actually not just engage in a course and learn a bunch of stuff and get a bunch of templates, but they're able to apply it all really well. Now, my call to action there for you guys is if you want to be part of that next 2-3 weeks of that final development process with the masterclass, sign up to panoramamastering.com/newsletter. Okay, as long as you click the button to get early access, you'll be put in that list, you'll get the email mail out, you'll get to see the responses, you'll get to respond directly to me via email with any questions I'm asking in those newsletters to help build out a really strong toolkit for you to use in your studio. Now, no mixing career is worth this: your health and your well-being. Physical, mental, all of the above. No mixing career is worth that. It's probably 2019. I glorified the hell every morning of my calendar. And that's all I would show people. I would just show people like it was silly. I was mastering about 6 to 8 tracks a day, plus mixing, plus running everything for the studio. And I would glorify that. And I was burning myself out. It was not healthy. It wasn't a good thing to sort of put out to the world, in the sense that people looked at it as a North Star, and behind those morning posts, I was burning out really bad, not just mentally, but physically. I was taking a toll. And then I go get blood tests from the doctor and they go, well, Nick, you're overweight, you got a fatty liver, and you need to cut down on a lot of the bad foods you're eating, you're not getting enough walking or exercise. And I realized, at the time I had 1 kid, and I know that, me and my wife now have 3 kids, and with a growing family, and that aspiration to have a family, there's a certain sense of responsibility you have to have for yourself. And regardless if you have a family, you need to have responsibility for your own health and well-being. And I wasn't executing that. And that's just not me. That's so many of my peers, so many of the professionals I know in this industry place their health last in the tier of importance. So it goes 16-hour days at the studio, finishing at 3 in the morning, eating shit food, not getting enough sleep. And we put that on the pedestal because it's either do that or lose jobs, because there's that sort of feast or famine mentality, especially in the music industry and creative industries. I don't want to glorify that. It's good to have a great work ethic and work with good vigor and commitment to what you've got on your plate. You have to have that to succeed. But in the same sense, like on going too far on that scale and sacrificing your well-being is not good. Now, I'm not going to harp on about that. I think we can all agree your health and well-being is important. Don't sacrifice it for work. It's great saying that. It's another thing acting on it, because when you start going down the rabbit hole of trying to act on managing your health, your mental health, your mental health, your physical health, your well-being, the actionable steps to do it crosses over between the commitment you have to your work in the studio. And it can be really hard because it's like, I don't have enough time to spend an hour at the gym. I don't have enough time to prep these meals or do this or do that. And I would be silly to say if I haven't struggled with that too. I want to share with you, though, some of the things I'm doing at the moment which help me manage that. And I'm going to break it down in simple things. So the very first thing I did after I got that blood test from the doctor is I cut out all deep fried food, no deep fried food, no fast food or takeout, and nothing that is processed that comes out of a packet. So no packs of chips, no packs of bars. Even if they say they're a health bar, they have so much sugar and shit in it. None of that. That was like step one. That was exceptionally hard because it's really hard to avoid processed foods and shitty foods. What I didn't want to do, and what confused the hell out of me when it's like, oh, you have to eat healthy and be healthy, is that you start looking at diets and you have to almost be like a Michelin star chef to prep your meals. It's ridiculous. You got to get like 20 ingredients, which, then you got to cut up and prep and put in containers and shit. And I was like, no, I don't want that. That's way too high friction. So simple things that I've found for me have worked. Cans of tuna, beautiful, healthy, nutritious. Nuts, unsalted. You put them in Ziploc bags, you portion them out. They're great snacks. Carrots are great snacks. Nuts, fruits are in abundance. You just put them on the counter, go past grab an apple, go past grab a banana, whatever. Eggs, learning how to poach eggs, boiling water, a bit of vinegar, throw them in, 2 minutes 30, take them out, have it on some bread, great. Peanut butter on whole grain bread, beautiful. Just simple things like that, where I don't have to be a Michelin star chef. Now, that doesn't mean I'm avoiding having my breakfast or my lunch or my dinner. Especially my wife cooks amazing meals pretty much every day. And so dinner's always a great time. And I'm not like picking out what I am and what I'm not going to eat. I do scale my food so I don't overeat, like I portion it. But I'm not demanding that I get, a whole meal pasta with, I don't know, some super chia seed and weird legume or whatever. Like, it's what we get is what we eat. It's relatively healthy, so that's good enough. The next thing in terms of like actionable things to keep me going is the doctor said, you should try and get at least 20 minutes of walking in a day. I'm thinking that's great. 20 minutes of walking, my ass is glued to a chair. How the hell do I go out and walk when I need to be here at the studio? The reality is, throughout the day, I take a lot of phone calls. I'm on a lot of Zoom calls, meetings, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get myself some AirPods. I thought they were there. That's why I looked over there. And they're not in my pocket. But basically, if I have a meeting, I schedule it, and I go for a walk. I put my AirPods in, and if I have to take notes, my phone's right there. So this way, at least I'm doubling up on work and getting my physical exercise, which I think is a nice little hack. With that, the other thing is I try to time those meetings after lunch. So after I eat, I'm not just sitting back down. I'm getting out, moving a little bit, help myself digest. I don't know the science behind it exactly. You can research that on your own, but for me, it's worked. So that's diet, exercise, mental health is a touchy one. How do I put this? It's being in business can be a struggle at times, and every now and then you need help. So you reach out to people that you need to reach out to, and you have to be a bit vulnerable and receptive to other people's input. And through that process, I've learnt a lot of ways to manage and cope with things in terms of my expectations, some of my expectations on myself, and not to overthink things and make myself over anxious about hypotheticals, rather than seat myself in a little bit of reality by one little exercise I've got for myself is to write down a fear whenever it props up, or an anxiety I have, and then write down what I expect to happen in a week, and then in a week go back to that diary and then write down what actually happened. So you've got the reality of your expectation and the hypotheses or the hypothetical, and then the reality of what actually happens. And then you can start grading it on going, wait a second, what my fear and anxiety tells me is very different to what actually transpires in real life. And that's been a really good exercise to keep myself moving, especially in the music industry where you've got so many projects, so many touch points, so many important projects you don't want to lose out on, or you want to satisfy your clients, or you send out a mix and you're like, oh, you build out so much stress and anxiety, even about mixes which sound great, and you send them off, you feel anxious anyway to get those notes back. And managing that anxiety is really good. As long as you take a step, it's a step in the right direction, and that is better than nothing. Doing this just to break up my video cadence at the moment, because always being so hyper-focused on performance and so hyper-focused on the tech side and so hyper-focused on excelling, I just wanted to create a break for all the viewers and the community, because I think we all deserve just to take this bit of reflection on our current lot in how we're working through things in the industry and reflect back on how we can take care of ourselves. I hope that helps you. Until next time, take care.